Hello and welcome to the Formula Masters China Series, the leading single-seater junior series in the Asian region. Now, this is the first time that the championship has come to here in Taiwan. The Audi R8 LMS Cup is also racing here as part of this race weekend. And later in the show, we'll be taking a closer look at the connection between those two series. It's the third race weekend of the year, and we have another three races coming up for you, of course, in the show. Two longer races and a sprint race. But first, though, let's take a quick look back at last time out in Shanghai. A packed crowd in Shanghai saw a stellar performance from Martin Rump in race 4, who quickly made his way up to second after starting from 6th. Matt Swanepoel's collision with Zheng Shengguan looked like it might bring the race to a premature conclusion. The track was cleared, leaving Rump just enough time to pass race leader Jake Parsons before the end. But as Parsons ran wide, Dan Woodruff also went by his teammate, and that's how it finished, with Rump winning from Woodruff and Parsons in third. Parsons' bad run continued with a technical problem keeping him in the pits for the start of race 5. That left Martin Rump all alone on the front row and allowed Australian Nick Rowe to take the inside line and go second. Rump extended his lead ahead of Rowe and Woodruff, but Aidan Reid gave it everything to force his way onto the podium. He nearly passed Woodruff at one stage, but Rump won again from Rowe in second and Woodruff in third. Wet conditions for race 6 saw some carnage at the start, with Dan Woodruff going into the back of his teammate Jake Parsons early on, with part of his front wing flying behind him. Parsons salvaged a previously disappointing weekend by going past Rump here to take the lead, and that's the way it stayed at the front. Right behind, Yuenbo had a tremendous battle with Matt Swanepoel and Aidan Reid throughout the race, and the Chinese driver won out to claim the final spot on the podium. But Parsons' win means he's now just 1 point behind Rump in the Drivers' Championship.
Right now, my inspiration is my team, and it's just great to see these guys work hard. So vote for me, Martin Rump, as your favorite driver.
The Penbay International Circuit is very demanding, and it's a pretty short run down to turns 1 and 2 over my shoulder at the start, as you can see. Limited opportunities for overtaking here, so qualifying particularly important at this circuit. Now, it's a brand new track for every one of the drivers on this grid except for one. Jeffrey Yeh raced here a year ago, and earlier he talked us through a lap of this twisting 3.5-kilometer track.
Welcome along for a lap of the Penbay International Circuit. Now, after leaving the grid, you accelerate almost straight into the first turn, but you can go through it at full speed. After that, though, you have to brake hard because you're quickly into the second turn and looking for the inside line. Then you're into the main straight and a chance to get into 4th gear. The third turn on the track is a right-hander, and this also means really trying to stay right in the inside line so you can exit the turn nice and fast. The 4th turn is the first hairpin of the track, and of course that involves hard braking, slowing the car right down so you can come out quickly out of the corner before the 5th turn is on you. Not too much pressure needed on the brakes here, however, unlike turn 6, which is another hairpin, so slowing the car right down again and carefully accelerating out of it. But not too much, because you're right into yet another hairpin, turn 7, and more hard braking to enter slowly and then coming out with the foot right down as we approach turn 8, which is a fast corner, no need to slow down much at all. Something similar here again for turn 9, just use the accelerator to control the line and swing left into turn 10. Brake late in the middle here, then ease off and use the accelerator to control your exit from the corner. Turn 11 is a right-hander, more gentle braking, and then coming out of this corner fast. And now we're approaching turn 12, where you're trying to keep off the brakes as far as possible to set you up for turn 13. And again using the accelerator to control the car carefully as we approach the final corner of the circuit. A quick touch on the brakes, but again quickly releasing them and leave the corner, accelerating hard towards the grandstand and the line, and we're all done.
It's not just the first time that the series has been to here in Taiwan, it's also the first time that they have raced solely with the Audi R8 LMS Cup in the same race weekend. Now, earlier, one of our drivers from the Start Racing Academy, which is aimed to develop the Chinese stars of the future, Jeffrey Yeh, got the chance to pick the brains of Audi driver and Chinese motorsport hero, Frankie Chang.
Motor racing, it's a tough, cool sport, and there's only one winner. So we all here want to win the races. So I hope that Jeffrey determined enough and ambitious enough and one day that he's on the top of the podium.
很高兴可以跟陈雄夫他们。
I'm so happy to be racing at the same venue as Frankie Chung and the Audi R8 LMS Cup. One day I hope I might be able to compete with him and against him in this event.
和他们切磋一下。
I'm very excited to be here. Audi and Formula Master together in Penbay. First time in Taiwan. And it's great actually to see the young driver from the Formula Master exchanging with our drivers from the Audi R8 and the LMS Club.
It's obviously a great situation to see them. They get a good manufacturer support, have the enough funding and the budget to go racing across Asia, and also the Formula Master Championship has produced some really good talents coming up.
And that's the ideal platform actually in the Volkswagen Group to move on from Formula cars to GT racing. Last year, for example, we had Matt Solomon. He moved on from Formula Master into the Audi R8 LMS Cup.
This is a very important period for Jeffrey now in the Formula Master to learn how to drive the race car. That is very critical.
他帮助了我很多。
I really have to thank the Star Racing Academy for helping me, both in terms of improving skills and in physical preparation. This has allowed me to get through a race physically, and the foreign coaches have helped me improve my driving skills step by step.
他会帮助我们每一场。
We all have been through their a footpath, and we all experienced the winning and the losing.
得到他们的驾驶技术。
I've learned so much from these experienced drivers. They're so skillful, so competitive. Whether it's maintaining speed, making the turns, they're always driving right on the edge.
都做得非常好。
If I can suggest one sentence to Jeffrey, would be push on the limit.
我好感谢
I
他。
really appreciate what Frankie says, but I won't just push to the limit. I'm going to try and push beyond the limit. He might be surprised one day when he finds I'm overtaking him.
Well, the battle for the championship just has 1 point in it between Martin Rump and Jake Parsons. Those two again on the front row of the grid. Martin Rump has the edge this time. Often he's been quicker, but Parsons has shown more consistency. So we'll look to see how that plays out in the first race of this weekend. Further down the grid, we have Nick Rowe, another good performance by him in third, with absolute driver Senan Fielding alongside him on the second row. We have 6 different teams in the top 8. Dan Woodruff and Shota Kiyahara from Super License. Another new driver here starts on the third row. Further back, Aidan Reid, Matt Swanepoel, Jeffrey Eyre from the Star Racing Academy goes in 9th position alongside Sean Hudspeth of Eurasia. Then comes Sun Jung from Absolute Racing, Kim Jong-tae, Jung Shengguan, Takashi Hata, Stephen Hong, Sam Locke and Tommy Wong rounding out the field. The first ever Formula Masters China Series race in Taiwan is underway after a brief delay for rain, but this has been declared a dry race, so hopefully no issues. Martin Rump in familiar position, then Parsons, Rowe, Fielding, Woodruff and Reid, 2 cars starting from pit lane. Martin Rump and Jake Parsons straight again into battle here at the front in race 7. So Rump, Parsons, then Senan Fielding pushing Nick Rowe very hard for 4th in his series debut here in Taiwan. Aidan Reid going nicely here, just 16 years old and has looked extremely assured already this season with a number of impressive results. One of the back markers moving aside to let some other cars through. On board now with Absolute Racing's Senan Fielding on lap 7 of this 12-lap race. Oh, and a spin there for Fielding, maybe just caught a wet patch on the track. Can he rejoin the action here? No, looks like he's slowing to a stop. That's a shame for the Englishman. Teammates Jeffrey Eyre and Zheng Shangguan, both young Chinese drivers, part of the Star Racing Academy, neither giving an inch around turn 5, often a key overtaking spot. Can Zheng make a move here? Oh, that's Dan Woodruff coming through for a drive-through penalty, and we're hearing that's for a jump start on the grid. So yeah, and Zheng in 5th and 6th respectively here after Woodruff's penalty. Martin Rump absolutely flying at the front. He's just set the fastest lap, and that will give him pole position for race 8 if that stays the same. Sean Hudspeth looking to cut inside Zheng Shengguan at turn 7. He's caught him here. They both spin. Well, the safety car is out. Let's take another look at that incident. Hudspeth unable to find space, and a synchronized spin there from the two of them. Well, the safety car goes back in, but that's the end of the race. Martin Rump will extend his lead in the standings, winning from Jake Parsons and Nick Rowe.
Today it turned out well. We had a dry race and a couple of damp spots, but it didn't really mean anything. So I'm really happy with the performance from the team. They did a really good job with the car. So we just went from the line to line.
I think it was a good race on our part there. We made some good improvements, so every time we can always find a little bit more, and now I know a few more spots that we can improve the car. So consistency was great, and I think now we'll just look at the data and tweak those few spots, and it should be good for tomorrow.
Cool. I think the main difference has been my teammate Martin and Jane's helped me out a lot. The whole team's really come together and helped me out a heap, and it's really paid off in the end. I'm getting a few podiums here and there now, which is good.
Martin Rump of Estonia winning from 3 Australians, Parsons, Rowe and Reed. Star Racing Academy driver Jeffrey Yeh, an impressive 5th from Matt Swanepoel, who started from pit lane. 3 drivers retiring early, with Shota Kiyahara unable to start.
My driving inspiration is Gilles Villeneuve. Vote for me, Jake Parsons.
Well, the top 3 most voted for drivers last month were Jeffrey Yeh, Matt Swanepoel and Dan Woodruff. So please do go online again this month and vote for your favourite driver online. Now we're here on the grid for the start of the 8th race of the season. It's very hot again here in Taiwan. The sun is out. It's only mid-morning, but scorching temperatures here. And we have Martin Rump and Jake Parsons fighting for the championship from that front row, as we've seen many times already this year. Behind them in 3rd is Nick Rowe, continuing his good form, alongside Matt Swanepoel from Arrows, who started from the back yesterday but had a very good performance. Aidan Reed of Eurasia is in 5th. Senan Fielding from Absolute Racing is in 6th. So 5 different teams in an exciting top 6. Then comes Zheng Shenguan, Dan Woodruff, Jeffrey Yeh and Sun Jung. Behind them, Sean Hudspeth, Kim Jong-tae, Takashi Hatta, Stephen Hong, Sam Locke, Tommy Wong and Shota Kiyahara starts from the back of the grid because of the problems that he had yesterday. The grid waiting for the start of race 8. The lights are out and they're off. Looks like the field is away first time. Martin Rump on pole. Parsons stays out on the right-hand side, but Rump stays in front. Then Rowe as the top 3 stay the same into turn 1 here. Matt Swanepoel under attack from Aidan Reed for 4th position. Aidan Reed looking to go through on the inside, but Swanepoel coming across to cover. And now Senan Fielding looking to go past Aidan Reed. But Swanepoel is in 4th, then Reed and Fielding there on your screen. Oh, Reed past Swanepoel on the inside of turn 5. Swanepoel looking to come straight back, but Reed is going to hang on here. On board with Aidan Reed now. In 4th position, looking to claw back some of the ground to the opening trio, but that's a big spin in the grass, and that's going to drop him right down the field. Well, he's still going to get back on track, but several positions back. South African driver Matt Swanepoel having a solid weekend. Started from the back of the grid in race 7, worked his way up to 6th, and here he is in 4th position in race 8. That's Takashi Hatta. Looks like his race is over as the marshal comes running. Zheng Shenguan in midfield. Oh, Sean Hudspeth with a big skid. Let's take another look at that from the Singaporean. Massive 180 from him, keeping the crowd entertained, but that won't please him at all. Started down in 11th after a steward's penalty, and more misfortune here. Martin Rump already looking to lap the back markers towards the end of this sprint race. Oh, and that's Aidan Reed again in the action, coming out of his car. Looks pretty bad. Roller coaster day for Reed, not at all happy. Moments before the end of this race. And it is all over now. Martin Rump wins again. Jake Parsons will come through for 2nd and Nick Rowe in 3rd.
It's a good challenge and I'm up for it, and everything turned out good. So also team really well set up my car, so it felt just great to drive in these hot conditions, so I'm just happy.
think we just got to keep focused on what we're doing here. We've made some good progress from the race yesterday, and I think the pace is coming along nicely, so we just keep focused on what we can control, and it should come pretty strong, I think.
I've been getting a good start this weekend, so we'll change a few things on the car and hopefully improve my driving, and I reckon it's definitely possible to beat Jake.
Now, I know it gets pretty hot in Australia as well. Have you ever raced in conditions like this?
Nah, never in my life. This is the hottest I've ever been.
Martin Rump continuing his perfect weekend here in Taiwan so far, winning from Jake Parsons and Nick Rowe. Good performances from Chinese drivers Zhang Shengguan and Jeff Riet in 6th and 7th. 3 drivers, Aidan Reed, Sean Hudspeth and Takahashi Hatta, all retiring early.
My inspiration is to constantly better myself as a driver and being able to see these improvements along the way. So vote for me, Matthew Swanepoel, as your favourite driver.
Well, joining me here on the grid for the start of race 9 is Dominic Linker, the head of sports car, motorsports and car culture with the Volkswagen Group in China. Dominic, it's the first time the series has raced here in Taiwan. What's impressed you most so far this weekend?
Well, Mark, it's a very challenging course. It's a small course here. We race on a heat for a felt of 40 plus degrees. It's very hard for our drivers to battle here, and we drive together with our Volkswagen Group racing partner RLMS Cup, where we already developed some of our young drivers from Formula Masters into. So it's a great family weekend, and we enjoy to be here.
Great stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, let's take a quick look at that grid. At the front, we have teammates from Cebu Pacific Air by KCMG. Martin Rump, familiar position. He is in pole position alongside Nick Rowe, who's had some great improvement over the last few races. Further back is Jake Parsons and Senan Fielding on the second row. Then comes Dan Woodruff, and Shota Kiyahara hasn't had a chance to show what he can do so far this weekend, but starts in position number 6. Then Aidan Reed and Matt Swanepoel on the 4th row. Star Racing Academy teammates Zhang Shengguan and Jeff Riet behind them. Then come Sean Hudspeth, Kim Jong-tae, Sun Jung, Takashi Hatta, Stephen Hong and Tommy Wong. The lights go out and Martin Rump on the left-hand side in pole position gets away cleanly. His teammate Nick Rowe tucks in behind him in second place. Fielding has nipped past Parsons to go up into third. And Aidan Reed, number 24, going up 2 places here, passing Woodruff and Kiyahara at the start. So Rump, Rowe, Fielding, Parsons. Aidan Reed under attack in 5th position. Matt Swanepoel in the black arrows, holding off the 2 SRA drivers. Shota Kiyahara in the white car. They're looking for a way around Dan Woodruff, around the outside of turn 5. What a move if he can make it stick. He does. The super licensed driver goes up a place here. Aidan Reed just ahead of him. Tremendous start in front of a packed house here at the Penbay International Circuit in Taiwan. Now Parsons in the red Meritus car, looking to retake third from Fielding. On board with Aidan Reed now, looking at that battle between Parsons and Fielding. Reed himself having to defend against Kiyahara just behind him as well, so it's all happening here. Reed's car bumping over the track a little bit there, it looks like. Now back to this battle for third between Fielding and Parsons. Battles all over the track here early in race 9. Slipping around both of them as they go around the hairpin. Now this is the battle for 5th position. 4 cars all in a line. Reed, Kiyahara, Woodruff and Swanepoel now joining the action. And Kiyahara in the white car looking to make a move past Aidan Reed. Oh, just goes a little bit wide there. Martin Rump looking dominant once again at the front, as has been the case all weekend. A long gap already back to Nick Rowe. But Rump looking very comfortable on this circuit. In fact, he has just set a lap record, 1 minute 36.5 seconds, an incredible second faster than any other driver. Parsons looking left and right to find a way past Fielding at turn 7. And he'll try again here into turn 8, but no luck so far at least. Nick Rowe looking for his third straight podium here in Taiwan. He's been working very hard on his fitness between race weekends, certainly paying dividends. Heavy rain now starting to fall. That will quickly sort out this field. Zheng Shengguan sliding around the hairpin, but manages just about to keep it together. Fielding now has a bit of breathing space in third, but this rain could change all that. Well, the safety car is out, and that's inevitable, really, given how slippery it is for these drivers on slick tyres. It will slow the racing, but it will at least bring some welcome relief from this heat here. So the field bunches right up, but it won't matter. Rump will take a hat-trick of wins here in Taiwan under a safety car finish. Nick Rowe comes through for second, and Senan Fielding is in third.
It wasn't sure in the beginning that it was going to be finished behind the safety car, so I had to be ready for 1 lap or 2 laps in slick tyres in wet conditions. So that definitely made things interesting. But the sweeter it is right now to bring it back home. In Shanghai we just missed it, but now we had a nice hat trick, and I think it's a really good point for the team. And also Nick did a really good job staying behind me.
I keep chipping forward, and I can't thank the team at KCMG enough. They really worked hard all weekend and helped me improve my driving, and hopefully at the next round we can take one more step.
First time in the car, first time at the track, first time for a lot of things. First time I met the team this weekend too. And I think it's the first time the team have ran these cars, so it was a massive challenge to come here and to walk away with the podium. It's a great result.
Martin Rump completes the hat-trick of wins in Taiwan. Nick Rowe up to second this time, with British driver Senan Fielding making his first podium of the season. Sean Hudspeth, Sun Jung, Kim Jong-tae and Stephen Hong, the last 4 to finish. Martin Rump now has a 21-point cushion at the top of the drivers' standings from Jake Parsons. Nick Rowe up into third after this race weekend. In the team classifications, Cebu Pacific Air by KCMG take the lead, 204 points ahead of Meritus.gp. These young drivers have been battling very challenging conditions all weekend long, but the patch grandstands have also seen some fantastic moves on the track. Let's see one of the best of those in our Masters Pass. Passing on the inside of Turn 5 is a favourite spot here in Penbay, but Shota Kiyahara in the white car goes around the outside of Dan Woodruff in our Masters Pass. 3 wins here in Taiwan from Martin Rump has really given him a stranglehold on this series. We're taking our chances with Nick Rowe on the podium, but we've seen in this championship before that a big lead can disappear overnight. So we'll see what happens next time out in Malaysia. See you soon.